Today, I want to talk about a little piece of plastic that showed Nintendo realized they may have made a mistake. The Kid Icarus Uprising plastic stand for the Nintendo 3DS. An accessory designed not to enhance gameplay or unlock new features, but to save your wrist from the game director's bold design decisions. And when I say bold, I do mean genuinely innovative, but at a terrible cost to the player's well-being. Now, most games got a collector's edition with an art book or a steelbook case. Kid Icarus Uprising came with the glorified kickstand. It held my 3DS up while I struggled through the game's awkward controls, or when I was using the 3DS to watch Netflix on what might be the worst screen to ever display Breaking Bad. This isn't a full review of Kid Icarus Uprising, but I do want to dive into what made its controls special. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I'm still thinking about this thing 12 years later, so hopefully you'll come along with me as I talk about my special interest. Welcome to Zesty is Tech, by the way. This video is more for your ears than your eyes, so feel free to throw me into another tab right after you hit the subscribe button. So why did Kid Icarus Uprising need this stand? The controls were ambitious. The game required you to move Pit around with the circle pad while aiming with the stylus. This meant you were holding the entire console in your left hand, awkwardly jamming at the touchscreen with your right. I know, you have to hold a whole 3DS with your left hand, but this is serious, okay? It wears on you. Unless you had the hands of a professional rock climber, your wrist was going to be begging for mercy. Nintendo's solution? Just add a stand. Just plop your 3DS into this plastic contraption and boom! Problem solved. Kind of. It turned your handheld console into a tabletop console. Portable gaming? No, this was find a flat surface and pray it's the right height, because on the original model, the 3D only worked at a very specific angle. There hadn't been 3D tabletop gaming like this since the Virtual Boy. It also wasn't just a single piece of plastic. It folded flat so you could take it with you. 3DS in one pocket, stand in the other. Now, when you bought this stand, it also happened to come with a game. Kid Icarus Uprising was a reboot of a franchise which hadn't been seen since the NES era. Despite the fact that I feel like it's been mostly forgotten, the fast-paced aerial combat, the chaotic ground battles, the ridiculously entertaining dialogue, it all came together in a way that was only possible because of Mr. Smash Bros. Himself, Masahiro Sakurai. This was a passion project for him. He apparently told Nintendo that he wouldn't start work on the new Smash Bros. Game for Wii U until he finished this game. It's a labor of love, and you can feel it. I have so many great memories of playing the multiplayer mode on the bus, even without the stand. Made it a test of endurance. In many ways, it was like if you mixed Smash Bros. With a third-person arena shooter. Reviews at the time were quite positive, except for the controls.
When on the ground, the stylus proves more challenging, as gripping the system with one hand is cumbersome. These sequences and the entire multiplayer component desperately need a dual-stick control option.
Almost every review at the time mentioned the controls. Some people adapted to them, others gave up after Chapter 2, and a few of us developed carpal tunnel. The game should have supported the Circle Pad Pro as an option. It was already out at the time, but this control scheme was actually a huge advantage, as long as you had the stand. Here's the thing. The stylus camera control allowed for faster and more accurate response times in a game that demanded both. Think mouse and keyboard meets Steam controller. I can't stop myself from talking about the Steam controller at every given opportunity. Valve had experimented with actual trackballs before settling on the touchpads, which were designed to mimic the same function. Likewise, the stylus control method allows you to flick the camera and carry momentum like a trackball. There was a steep learning curve. The game was split into on-rail sky sections and ground sections where you had full control over both your movement and the camera. The sky sections were much easier because all you needed to worry about was the precision aiming offered by the stylus, without any of the flicking. Again, they should have provided more control options, but Sakurai clearly believed in this control scheme. If they were going to go through the effort to offer a specialized stand for the game, certainly playtesters complained about it. It's essentially Nintendo saying, yes, we know it hurts, but it's worth it. It's also a time capsule of Nintendo at the time. Does Nintendo still make accessories today? Absolutely. But these were the echoes of the Wii era. If there's an opportunity to make a piece of plastic augment your hardware, they were on top of it. Fast forward to today, and this thing is worth more than you would expect, but nothing crazy. Some people on eBay are selling them for around $35. And no, that doesn't include the game, just the plastic stand. After shipping, you could have bought the original game at launch. I have no idea where mine ended up, and I don't want to commit to the bit enough to buy one, but I would love to have a little phone stand that screams I peaked in 2012. Personally, I want this thing to go on to be a priceless gaming relic, but I think it'll need a couple more decades. Anyways, why does it matter? The stand represents the importance of Sakurai's vision for the game. Let me know what other games used this control scheme. I've never run into any, but I'm sure there's probably some out there. It's the kind of thing that really wouldn't be possible without an auteur director telling Nintendo, the controls hurt? Just include a stand then. For me, it's a reminder of the joy of gaming in 2012. Sitting on my bed, the stand balanced on my knee, enjoying a game that has yet to receive any sort of remake or sequel since it released. Why didn't this get a Wii U remake? The Wii U was a dual screen system. A PC remake using a mouse and keyboard would be the ideal. I'm sure people have figured out ways to remap the controls on emulators, but even with dual analog sticks, I would love to see this game re-released. So here's to the Kid Icarus Uprising stand. A weird, wonderful piece of gaming history that deserves to be remembered. If you got one of these lying around, cherish it. And if you don't, always drop $35 on eBay. Your call. Thank you for listening to me rant about a plastic 3DS stand, and if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did you use the stand? Did you just tough it out? And what's your favorite obscure gaming accessory? If you haven't tried it, you should absolutely play Kid Icarus Uprising. Just be sure to give your wrists a rest.